Hi, today we will learn on Human-Computer Interaction BIT 21303, and we will learn on Chapter 3A, which is Design and Prototyping Process. So for Design and Prototyping Process, one of the module is the Design Principles. So what you will learn at the end of this lecture is, first, you will be able to identify a range of usability design principles and how they can be applied in design. And second, you will be able to evaluate the existing products or system based on the design principles. So for design principles, according to Donald Norman, we have 6 design principles, which is the first one, visibility, the second one, feedback, the third one, constraint, the fourth one, mapping, the fifth one, consistency, and the last one, affordance. For visibility, it is one of the most important design principles in design principles. Visibility is achieved by placing the control in a highly visible location, and usually is often violated in order to make things look good. Designing for visibility means that just by looking, user can see the possibility for an action to use the thing the way it is intended to be used. Feedback. Feedback is the provision of information to a user about the result of an action. When feedback is used, the system tells the user that it has done something in response to the user input. So for example, the add push down effect when you press a button, the loading, the telling you something is happening, the progress bar showing the percentage of process to complete the objective, and the sounds you press your phones. It means that when you're pressing something, there is an audible sound telling you that you have pressed it. Constraint. Constraints are property of an object that limits the way in which it can be used. When constraints are used in design, we reduce the error by user. Jigsaw puzzle utilize the shape and the pattern to provide constraint. There are 3 main types representation of constraint. The first one is physical, the logical, and the cultural. The physical constraint. The design of floppy disk and the design of the video cassette allow the floppy disk and the cassette to be inserted in the correct way. The bank card can only be inserted in a certain way, and keys on a pad can only be pressed in a certain way. So that is a physical constraint. Logical constraint. Based on the example, where do you plug the mouse and keyboard? Top or bottom? We need a color-coded icon? So for that one, how to make them more logically? A. Provide direct adjacent mapping between icon and connector. B. Provide color coding to associate the connector with the label. So that are the example of logical constraint. Cultural constraint. Cultural constraint rely on learned convention. Example, red for warning, certain audio for danger, smiley face for happy emotion. Once accepted by more than one cultural, it became a universal convention. Restricting the possible action that can be performed and helps prevent user from selecting incorrect option. So those are the constraint attribute. Mapping. Based on this example that we have, why this can be considered as a poor mapping. So is it a better mapping? Yes. When you place it in a way that people always recognize it, usually human can use it more effectively and easily. So it is usable. Natural mapping. Mapping is the relationship between controls and their action or effect in the world. Natural mapping takes advantage of physical analogies and cultural standards to provide user with an understanding of how something. And the fifth one is consistency. So usually we use similar operation and similar element for the entire system. For example, general consistency is Control O for open, Control C for copy, Control V for paste. The main benefit of mapping is that we have a consistent interfaces that when users use it, they feel familiar and easier to learn. Affordance, which is the last design principle, is a property of an object that indicate how it can be used. So we have physical affordance. How do the following physical object afford? Are they obvious? So this is the handle door that you use it. Whether you turn it or you press it is according to the knob. Chair, you know that you use it to sit down on it. A cup, you know you can use it to drink it. And a steering wheel, you know it to use it to drive the way you intended it to do. Rituals affordance or the logical affordance. How the following object can afford? What if you were a novice user? Can you use it? Would you know what to do with them? So that's all for the design principle. So before we leave the class, we will learn and revisit the design principles again. The first one is visibility, which is placing the control in a highly visible location. Second one is feedback, provision of information about the result of an action. The third one is constraint, restricting the possible action that can be performed to help user from making error. Mapping is the relationship between controls and the action or effect in the world. The first one is consistency. Internal consistency refer to design operation to behave the same within the application. External consistency refer to the design operation such as interfaces to be the same across application and device. And the last one, affordance, is a property of an object that indicate how it can be used. So that's all for today. Thank you.